Hey everybody, my name is Spencer and I'm going to talk to you today about the escape game Unlocked. Now this is made by a company that actually makes real escape rooms. It's called the Escape Game. They've got several locations around the country, and there's one right here in the Dallas area where I live. And at that location they have 4 different rooms, and I've done them all. In fact, I'm wearing a shirt of one of the rooms called the Playground, and I escaped the playground. But what's really neat is one of their rooms called the Heist is actually continued online and on a digital escape room. And so I was very curious to see how that translated, how their puzzles, their high quality escape rooms, and I mean high quality, they're awesome. Great puzzles, great props, great sets. They're great. But I was interested to see how that translates digitally. So the Escape Game kindly sent me codes to try out these 2 rooms. It's the Heist Volume 1 and Volume 2. Now that's all that's out right now. They do have plans for another one, but that's currently what you're able to do. Now each one is $10, and then you get a discount if you do both of them. Essentially what happens in the Heist, the escape room, is you're trying to recover a stolen piece of art. And the guy that stole it is now on the run, and so online you're trying to find him. You're following his trail and trying to track him down, and so that he gets arrested. One of the things I really like about these online escape rooms is there's a great use of real and fictional resources. So you go into each case online and you'll have resources you can access, like documents and pictures and images and maps that are fictional, but also you're free to use Google. You can use Google Maps. And in fact, you need some resources online that are real world. And so I like that meshing of real and fictional resources. In fact, my wife and I, who did these together, forgot at one point that we could use Google, and we got stuck. And then we had to get a hint, and of course that led us to remember, oh yeah, you can use Google and Wikipedia or whatever you want to. But speaking of those resources, I want to show you the dashboard and show you the interface of the online escape room. And I'm not going to spoil anything for you. This is what it looks like whenever you log in for the very first time. So this is the dashboard. You're working for the Agency for International Reconnaissance. You get this nice welcome message, welcome to your dashboard, and you get this short, small little briefing. Our surveillance team has picked up new activity on Han. That's the bad guy that you're trying to find. Now, it introduces you, and it tells you that you've got the files over here at this location. You've got 2 things you can click on. First of all are your files. You can go in and you can see when you first start, you can look at evidence report, surveillance report, antique district map. And you can see, there are different pictures you'll see that might give you information to help you solve the first part of the mystery, which is location. Where was Han's latest drop? So you're going to go through all those files and try to determine where his latest drop was. Again, here's the hint system that I talked about. You just click on that and then you'll be directed to different types of hints. And down here are some things you'll unlock as you go along. You do have some settings up here. You can go to your profile. You can completely reset the case, which is exactly what I did so that I could show you what it looks like from the very beginning. And then of course you can log out. But yes, it saves everything whenever you're done or whenever you want to stop. All right, let's get back to the rest of my thoughts. I think the execution of the website is fantastic. It's very well done. It's easy to navigate. It's intuitive. It makes it so that the only thing you need other than the website and maybe a few extra Google resources is just a pencil and paper. You are going to take notes. You're going to help solve some of the puzzles with the pencil and paper, but otherwise it keeps track of everything in there for you, and you can access the things that you've unlocked very easily. And like I said, it's just very, very intuitive. Another aspect of the online platform is you randomly get these calls from an agent. So it's, of course, they're not real, but they're coming in at the right moments that you need to help you get to the next part of your mission. And the guy that's playing this agent, he's great. He's a great actor. He's very funny, and I enjoy it every time he comes on, just because he really just exemplifies this agent, but not like a serious agent. He's like in the field, and it's like he's having a good time being this agent, helping us solve the crime. So I really enjoyed that part of the escape room too. I want to talk about the cases specifically. Now the first case, you're starting, and I feel like at times it's information overload. You just get all this information. Sometimes it's hard to know what to do with it. And so there is a hint system. It's very easy to use, and I love it. You just scroll down to the place that you're stuck on, and you can get hints. There's a level of hints that you can get. So if you don't want the exact answer, You don't have to get it right away. You can get the steps of the hints more and more, giving you more information. So you do have that to help you. And so that first case, there's a little bit of an information overload, but it is winnable. We won it, and it's not impossible, but it's still a good case. Just know that if you get that feeling of, oh, there's so much information, then we experience the same thing. But again, it's all stuff. Most of the stuff you need. Some of it are red herrings, as with most escape rooms. But being able to navigate that and determining what's real, what you need and what you don't need, well, that's all part of the challenge, so it works. The second case is so much more thrilling than the first case. Not to say the first case is bad, but there's just this element of time. Not to say that the first case is boring, but this one, there's this element of, okay, we've got to catch this guy. Our window is closing. We've got to do these things to catch up with him before he gets away. So there's just this feeling of urgency that you got to get this guy before it's too late. There's not quite as much information overload as the first. I think it's slightly easier than the first case, which is fine. Going from a very difficult one to a slightly easier one, hey, I'll take that any day. Now, I've done around 25 real-world escape rooms and several, countless, I don't know how many, tabletop versions of escape rooms, the Exit series, the Unlock series, the Adventure Game series, all different types of tabletop escape rooms. So I've seen a lot of puzzles, just this entire variety of many different types of puzzles. And so I was very curious about the types of puzzles that I would use in a digital version, and they all work. I love them. I don't want to explain any of them, but as I mentioned, you have to use your resources at hand, but they all work and they're all challenging. Nothing's ever clearly obvious. That does give you a nice challenge. Some are easier than others, but whenever they do give you that sense of accomplishment whenever you solve them. And that's what I'm looking for in an escape room, of not spending too much time beating your head against the wall of how do you solve this puzzle, but just enough challenge to where when you do solve it, you feel like you've done something great. Now, for my wife and I, it took us a little bit over an hour for each one to do, so not any different than a real-world escape room where mostly it's 60 minutes and most tabletop games have some kind of time limit too. So it's right in the average of what you would normally spend doing an escape room. There's not a timer, so it's not a timed kind of thing. So you can take as long as you want to. You can pause, go get something to eat, come back. But regardless of whatever you do, you can come back to it even if it's a day later or 2 days, whatever. You just log out and you can log back in. Now let's talk about player count. Now obviously, there's no restriction on how many people can play. However, I think it's perfect at 2. There was just enough information for both of us to bounce ideas off of each other. I think you might be able to do 3. 3 would work, but the more people you get, just the more you have people crowded around a screen and, lots of ideas flying here and there. I mean, it's up to your group. It might work for you, but I personally think you shouldn't do more than 2 or 3 people on one of these cases. But what it all comes down to is these are fun. I mean, at $10 each, it's totally worth it. You can spend $30 on a real-world escape room or $10 here at home and do an escape room with somebody else. And it's still just as fun, just as challenging. You don't have the physical element of moving stuff around, pulling levers, that kind of thing. But it still works your brain in the same way. And for that reason, I do recommend doing the Escape Game Unlocked. That's all I've got to say about the Escape Game Unlocked. If you want to see more of my reviews or any other videos that I've done here on the Lighten Up Initiative, make sure you subscribe. Feel free to scroll through, look through the videos, subscribe so that whenever I put out a new video, you get an alert whenever that happens. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please click like. Otherwise, until next time, don't take the board game hobby too seriously. Just lighten up.